It's Thursday night here in Orlando. I'm excited to hang out with you guys tonight and talk about all things real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. Tonight, I'm joined by my guest, Kristen Pavlik. What's going on?
I'm here. That's what's going on.
Yeah, you are. Welcome back. It's been a while since you and I have gone live together.
I know.
I'm excited that you're here.
This.
We got a lot to talk about. We've got some development news. We've got school news. We've got
theme park news.
Yeah, so much cool stuff. And we're also joined by Mr. Chase Farmer, our producer. What's going on, dude?
Hola. How's everybody doing today?
We're doing well, man. We're best plate thing you ate this week, Chase.
I've been trying to eat more healthy, man. I don't know, something from the house. It's so boring, dude.
Good for you. Let us know down below where you guys are watching from. We love to kind of create this live around you and what you're looking to do. Are you looking to move to the area? Do you already live here and you're just kind of getting to know Orlando a little bit more? Let us know down below and kind of engage from you there. Stephanie checking in from Simpsonville, South Carolina. We got Magical Days checking in. Met with Fallon today. She's fantastic. She is fantastic. Yay! We love Fallon. L. Roberts says, hi, Kristen from Laura in Texas.
Oh, hey, Laura. Oh.
Brenda's checking in from St. Charles. I love your new team photos. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we rolled out a new team campaign this
and we all
week.
Planned it to go to do it at the exact same time. So it's just like this huge, like, welcome to the Pozek group.
It is. We move Orlando. That is our tagline. NYC Iron says, Ken, long time since I caught a live. I'm glad you did. Chris checking in says, see. I'm sure to put something else. Oh, there we go. Chris from BVL. Good to see. Hope you're doing well as well. Kim checking in from Clermont. Sally from Vegas, moving to Orlando next year with your fiance, who's from Orlando. Well, welcome back to your fiance and welcome to you, Sally. So let us know down below. But first off, let's talk about this interesting article that came out from Wallet Hub. Best large cities to start a business in 2025. Guess what? Where Orlando ranked?
Where'd we rank? And you would know a lot about this. You started a business.
I have started a business or two in Orlando. So number one, Orlando ranks a total score of 65, and they have a whole bunch of different things. They have a business environment rank, access to resources, business costs, basically Orlando overall number one best place in America to start a business in 2025.
I can see that.
Right below that was Tampa, which also right down the street from us.
Great.
Austin, that ranks well. I love to see Orlando outranking Austin for stuff. After all this time, I've been talking about Orlando could be the next Austin in regards to jobs.
You say that a lot. Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are. Take that, Austin.
That's exactly. Number 4 is Jacksonville and number 5, Miami. So around
a lot of Florida. Yeah.
A lot of Florida.
What were the metrics on what did it say? It said environment rank, resources and costs. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think so. Starting a business here, I mean, business environment. So I'm looking at, are there customers here? I've been talking a lot about like if you're going to start a business. I think I tell a lot of people, like coming from the Northeast and or Midwest, if you are in tile or electrical or plumbing,
oh my gosh,
literally any trade,
handyman services, I mean, you'd be a millionaire.
Good to go. Yeah, for real. Like,
oh yeah.
And so there's just so many, like there's that. There's also the tech hubs that are starting here. One of the stories we'll talk about later today is sort of Orlando's rank in terms of how we're doing in tech. Yeah. And so whether you're working with your hands or you're working in a service business or you're working in tech, a lot of opportunity.
And I mean, even if you're starting young, UCF has so much that they're pouring into like their programs for starting young entrepreneurs. So it's a really cool thing that we have right there.
Yeah. There's a ton of kids going there. Oh, by the way, massive. Elizabeth from Metro West says, bought your house with Kristen.
She did.
Oh,
hi, Elizabeth.
Your people are checking in today. That's so cool. We got Chris checking in from Phoenix. Colby checking in from Springfield, Oregon. Oregon. Oregon.
That's how I say it.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I'm only from here.
Christine says, a long time no see. Hello from Illinois. Rainy weather. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Let's keep going with the entrepreneur talk, though, in Orlando, because there was another article that came out from MarketBeat. It talked about innovative incubators. Survey of entrepreneurs reveal the cities with the most supportive for startups.
For startups, yeah.
And so
this goes right in tandem with like building a business here. And look who's number one.
Yeah, Dallas, Texas. Number 2 is
There's Austin.
See, right next to each other there. Number 3, Houston. And number 4, Orlando. It says, go ahead. You can't see that far, can you?
Yeah, I can, because we transcend tourism, emerging as a tech startup hub with university and research support. There we go.
UCF's business innovation. Yeah.
They're so good.
It's really cool.
Really creative things. They're fostering growth. I mean, they're also making connections. I think that's the hardest part, right?
It is. I mean, that's why a lot of people go to college. It's not really for what you learn. It's the network and the relationships that you build. So my son, as you know, he's almost 16. Next year, we're going to start touring colleges. And I'm asking him.
Oh my God, how are you feeling?
I'm like a little stressed a little bit about it. And so I kind of went, the college I went to, I felt very it was in our backyard. We just went there. And so for him, I'm like, are you sure you want to go to UCF or some like Florida-based school? And he's like, I'm going to start there and we'll look beyond that. But UCF is a pretty cool spot.
UCF's massive. So my John went to UCF.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's so many people that I know that went there, and it does create such great relationships. And the school has so much. I mean, if you've got to just check it out. They've got music, they've got arts, they've got tech, they've got everything. Yeah. Medical. I mean, and then all the sports events are super fun to go to in their arena.
Yeah.
So it's like an entertainment place.
It does. It feels that way.
A hub.
And then that way I can see him on the weekends and we can still golf.
Yeah, absolutely. Save a little bit with the in-state tuition, kind of get the foundations going, make sure he likes what he's doing. It's so hard to ask a 16-year-old to like pick their life path.
The rest of your life.
Yeah. Right?
No, it really
like
is.
let him experiment, have some fun, figure some things out. He's pretty confident what he likes though, right?
He is. He knows what he wants to do. And for the most part, I think now it's just like, does that school have what he wants? Which I think it does. We're also trying to tour EA Entertainment because he wants to get into coding and video game design and that kind of thing.
Love a little nerd.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be right at home here.
That's perfect.
Chase, we had some good questions for the mailbags. The mailbag this week. You want to run one back for us?
Yeah, let's do it. Adrian Turner asked, this one came through through email this past week. So definitely remember, you can send us questions after the show through email. But she says, love the show. Here is my question. Have you heard any rumors of new build pocket neighborhoods like Toll Brothers, Haven Oaks in Soto, coming to places like College Park, Dr. Phillips, that would be perfect for us? Thanks.
So there's pocket parks, popping up everywhere. And it's interesting because so many times we saw the local custom builders doing these little pocket neighborhoods, but now it is the Toll Brothers. And there's another one,
Videra.
Who's the builder on that one?
Is that Khov who's doing that?
Yeah, Khov. And like they had the church kind of in the middle of the neighborhood. And that's the thing
they built around the church.
Yeah. You went there. Where's that one located?
So that's literally right in the Milk District. I mean, like the 408's right there. And then there it is right off of it, walkable to the Milk District. So you can actually just leave. They've got townhomes and single family homes, which is wild to think of brand new single family homes with large lots and backyards.
In the Milk District?
In the Milk District. And literally I actually did a walking video of it where I left the community and I walked to, there's like a little yoga place right there, coffee shop, gym. I mean, it's like downtown living, but brand new construction, 2-car garage. Think about that.
No, it's massive with the yard. And I know David Weekley does they call it their city living product to where they do like over in Soto, they had knocked down, I think 10 houses in a row, built brand new ones there.
Those are a little less community vibe though, right? Because they're single products, whereas Vidara is actually a little pocket community. Yeah. So they have an HOA and like, it's a really cool thing. So
maybe but what if you don't want an HOA?
Well, then you would go look at like a David Weekley product, or just, buy an old house yourself and tear it down and build something else.
Chet, our business broker friend, Chet, good to see you, my friend. Daniel says, hey, Ken, tell the Orlando Dreamers to acquire the Rays, but keep the name the Rays versus the Dreamers, or maybe just rebrand the Sun Rays.
People really don't like the Dreamers, do they?
So it's not, and it's even, so I thought for the longest that was going to be the name, but it seems as though that's just the name of the organization trying to bring it here.
Oh,
so they're the Dreamers hoping to bring MLB to Orlando, but that doesn't mean that that's actually going to be the name.
Thank goodness.
Dreamers. I agree. Let's see. Joel says, where can FDOT possibly build a relief road from 27 to the Turnpike in Clermont? So 27 is going to go, they're going to cut through, I think it's the 516. That makes sense. Let's see.
Yeah, let's take a look at the map. What are we trying to connect to from like to Winter Garden or?
So 27 to the toll. Let's see.
To the toll.
You want me to pull it up?
What's up?
I just wanted to know if you can see it on your screen.
Oh yeah, I got it right here.
Cool.
Let's see. The map though is not the greatest. So let's see. Can you see that, Chase?
Yep, sure can.
You can get rid of us. There we go. So this is off to the left there. You've got 27. And then this is going to be the new 516, which they're currently working on. It's going like they've basically got this part finished right now. And then this is the 429. So this is Horizon West, which could easily pop over to the Turnpike. Yeah, easy.
So nothing direct, like
nothing direct, but it's going to be. I mean, he's right because like over Lake County, it is pretty freaking hard to get anywhere east.
Yeah.
So
Because there's a lot of lakes, and that's where our hills are, right? So
yeah,
come through,
right.
come through our only hills, guys. Like
Our only hills. It's the beautiful topography of Clermont. But yeah, so that when that's finished up, they're saying that's going to be done in 2029. So that'll be here before we know it. There's a few other roads coming in that are going to start later this year, which won't be a toll road, but it'll still be much faster. Yeah.
Create a little bit more cohesiveness.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk about some maybe not so good news. It depends on how you look at this, honestly. Orlando among major U.S. metros with home price drops. So this was...
I think this is a little cherry picked personally, but let's go through it together.
Well, especially because they look at... First off, let's talk about what is Orlando to their study. It's the Orlando Metro, and so that includes all the way up to Sanford, all the way down through Kissimmee. And so you're not really talking about just Orange County. And so people watching will argue often, is Orange County just Orlando? Is it just the city of Orlando?
Yeah.
Or is it the 5-county area, which is kind of the way I think of it.
There are a lot of people who live in like Winter Park or even in Horizon West. They're like, oh yeah, we live in Orlando, right?
And people are like, you don't live in Orlando. I would say, because this is my litmus test. Because if I'm in Seattle and I'm hanging out, and people are like, where are you from? I'm not going to say, we live in Winter
Horizon West, Winter Garden.
They don't know what that means.
They have no idea what that means.
It could be Miami. It could be Jacksonville. They wouldn't know. I would say I'm from Orlando.
Yeah, I just take after Disney. Disney says they're in Orlando, so we're all...
Well, exactly. There you go. So,
but yeah, I know. And Kissimmee has a lot of the short-term rental market, which has been highly affected, and you have been seeing price drops. So if you're taking that as part of this data, then yeah, you're going to see it's going to skew it.
It is. Yeah. I mean, you look at Orange County, you look at Lake County, Seminole County, all were up year over year. But this study, anyhow, so Orlando's median home prices fell less than 1%, 0.9% year over year amid cooling market. National home prices rose 2% year over year. Or sorry, the slowest in slowest growth in 2 years. There you go. Thank you. And Redfin advises buyers and sellers to be strategic in an uncertain economy.
I think we should always be strategic.
I think we should.
Thank you, Redfin.
Thank you. Yeah.
However,
thank you for your sage advice. But you're absolutely right. Jacksonville declined 2.2% year over year, which was the steepest drop in all of Florida. But yeah, we talked about how real estate is hyper local, and so
because you say the study, but then I can tell you that I just had a home in Orlando that got multiple offers on it. Right. Yeah. I mean, so it is really. I think it's you got to take a closer look, and it's neighborhood by neighborhood at this point.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like we had a record month this past month.
Did. What was our record before?
So we had helped 65 families.
65 families was our record. 65. And this month
we helped 86 families.
86 families.
Which is absolutely wild. And yet it's interesting because people are coming to us saying like, well, I heard it's a buyer's market. Tell me where my opportunity is. And we help them. And other sellers are like, you know what? No, we just want to cash out the market. It seems like things are a little uncertain. Let's maybe cash out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either of which
a lot of sellers still have a ton of equity. So it just really depends on what you're looking for, I think. But yeah, that's incredible. Congratulations to our team working so hard.
And our clients, for sure.
And our clients who are here.
Who are clear. A bunch of them. All right, don't put this over here, Chase, yet, because I don't have it locked in. But let's see some of these things here. Now I want to know month over month.
Bright line to Disney would be great. Insane.
Bright line to Disney. All right, let's talk about it while I'm pulling up this over here. So go ahead, Chase, pull it up. So we got Sunrail extension to Orlando Airport. Theme parks moves ahead. Now, there have been blogs people were sending us saying that this was approved and funded and ready to move forward. That's not the case. And so, but what they did say is that there's going to be a $6 million study of this so-called Sunshine Corridor. And they have to go through this whole thing of like, where's it going to go? How much is it going to cost? What would it cost to operate? It has to make
sense.
Yeah. It has to make sense. And so it would go, apparently, if this does move forward, the Sunshine Corridor is a Sunrail extension that's going to go from the Orlando Airport all the way to the Orange County Convention Center and then over to the theme park district.
That would make sense to me. The 100%. Airport to the convention center, I think that's going to be profitable. I think that would be amazing.
Yep.
To the theme parks even, because right now, I mean, I think we're still lacking in a lot of transportation to the theme parks. I mean, there's that, I told you that $3 Lynx bus.
That's actually a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, the Lynx bus, $3 to get to where?
From Disney to Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love an estimated cost of $4.4 billion. The Sunshine Corridor likely would not be built solely with local funds. So they're going to have to be looking at state funds and federal funds and figuring out what does that look like to been able to grow this and use it. So should this move forward, though, I think it would be massive.
I think that's a no-brainer to me. But let's do this study so that we can
let's make confirmed. Sure. I do think about it. It's like you spent $1 billion on Brightline, or I think it was more than that. And so somebody had to think about how many people are actually going to use this. We have in our comment section everybody saying how much we need transportation, yet we're very car dependent. So it becomes like this re-education kind of thing of this is going to be a good thing
Yeah.
and you need to use this.
I mean, I would use it if it was from theme park to theme park or downtown or airport. That would be
I'd use it. For
amazing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
Chase, let's go back to the mailbag, man.
All right. Next up, we got Ben from Winter Garden. He asked, downtown Winter Garden is packed every weekend now. Are we reaching a point where it's getting too crowded for locals to enjoy?
What do you think?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you been to Disney recently? That's crowded. No, I think it's great. It's more people getting out and building community and people connecting and meeting. And I mean, it's so cool when you see families with all their kids, like meeting other families and creating those like bonds. I think it's awesome. I don't think it's overcrowded.
I don't think so either. And I remember when we first moved here, downtown Winter Gardens farmers market was like, it was like the produce back by like the overhang there, and then maybe 20 other vendors. Now it's spreading out in the streets, and it becomes this really cool community event. And if that's what people are really after is
more
community.
People means more funding too, right? Have you been to Southern Hill Farms recently?
Oh gosh, yeah.
It used to be not what it looks like now.
No,
and now it's like a professional. They've got they rebranded and rebuilt like the entire pavilion that they have with all the shops and restaurants. I mean, I was like, okay, new development's good. Look what it does.
What's up? Look what, this is good.
This used to just be a field.
Right, exactly. I've got some questions over here, Chase. You want to go to Anthony's? Let's see. Hey, Ken, we moved to Hunters Creek from Southern California a few months ago. Your content was instrumental. Currently renting, but we're ready to buy. I know who to call. Well, I appreciate that, Anthony. Somebody, our friend JJ is in our comments talking. I think he's out at the football because it's Hunters Creek versus Horizon West tonight.
Was this our Hunters Creek person?
It's our de facto Hunters Creek
our
mayor
mascot,
there.
Yeah, Hunters Creek mascot.
So we'll see who wins. It's a big game tonight. Kyle says, hey, do you see Apopka developing, or how do you see Apopka developing over the next 3 to 5 years, especially near Ural Estates or maybe the 429 Kelly Park area?
Is that where you live, Kyle? Is
yeah,
that why we're asking? Because that's very
just
specific.
Like randomly, I would say this area. No, what do you think?
I just want to know. I mean, Apopka's got so much that's coming soon. The Wild Oak project is going to be a massive change to see like a hotel and retail and commercial. I mean, it's going to be really cool. Having been born and raised here, Apopka kind of wasn't really on the map. It wasn't really something that you'd really see. And now we're getting all of this new development coming into that area. I've taken so many clients out because the home pricing over there is actually really affordable for the new construction opportunities that they have. And especially, I mean, how great would it be to buy into something now affordable and then right across the street from you, a great hotel with fantastic restaurants and retail. Like it's going to be so cool to see that kind of stuff. So I anticipate that it's going to just benefit
totally
from all of that.
I think it's tempering people's expectations too and how long some of that stuff takes, because I remember when we moved to Horizon West from Celebration, it was kind of like, oh, everybody sold us on the idea that it's coming now. It's look, it's coming now. And I'm like, okay, what does now actually mean? And then here we are 6-7 years later, finally it's coming.
Starting to see it,
and so I think it is something where Apopka will be, I think, a fantastic place, but it might take 7 to 10 years to get everywhere.
Yeah, I think so too.
You applied here just so you can see it.
We moved here from Winter Springs recently.
From Winter Springs. There's a lot of people who do that because Winter Springs kind of has a similar vibe.
Very similar vibe. All right, go back over here. So smart charts. I pulled this up while y'all were chatting. So I wanted to talk about the month over month and how it does break down. So in a study where they say that pricing fell 1% for Orlando Metro, let's talk how this breaks down. So Orange County had 3% year over year change. So that beat the national average.
Which is wild.
Because
I usually quote, I'm like 2.5% year over year is great, but 3% is fantastic.
And then Seminole County was up 1.6%. Osceola County was up just barely broke even. But then you start looking at some of the ones that are pulling us down, if you will. Polk County down 3.5%. That makes sense.
That makes
especially with construction going on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities where builders are having to not give away the house, but
I mean, they really
they are.
There's some hey, if you're looking for a deal,
those
Polk County is where it's at.
There's a ton. Well, and what almost doesn't make sense about that is that there was another study or an article that we came out with where it was the fastest growing county in the nation.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
That was like net migration, but maybe those people weren't buying. Maybe they were doing, it was more apartments, but 30,000 people net.
Yeah,
just to the county last year. So I don't think that's going to be that way forever, but I think a lot of these builders were building so fast and they needed to catch up with themselves. Any other ones? I'm trying to think. So we said
Volusia.
Volusia County is
down 3%.
Yeah, down 3%. Okay, that makes sense. And then what was the other one? Lake County. Where are we at with Lake County? Down half a percent.
It's about even, honestly. Yeah, that's such a small percentage.
Yeah. So anyways, interesting to see when you look at the overall numbers.
Actual,
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, you really could just cherry pick data all day long, couldn't you?
You really could. They absolutely could. So let's talk. Speaking of migration and the big things going on here. So everything you need to know about the Orange County redistricting. Did you hear about this, Kristen?
Yeah. So we're adding 2 more districts because of all the growth we're seeing, right?
Exactly. So last November, Orange County voters approved a charter amendment that would increase the commissioners to 9 seats. We only currently have 7, so they need to redistrict first, and then next time people come around to vote, there'll be 2 more commissioners.
Yeah, and this is just because of the population growing, right? We need more people to represent the population that we have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people start thinking through municipal boundaries and how do they actually redistrict and what does this look like? Who gets included in what district? And so there's lots of things on both sides of the aisle. So we won't really dig into all that tonight. But what we'll say is that they're going to be having there's a 15-member citizen-led committee that's going to be the mid-decennial.
Dicentennial.
Yeah. Redistricting Advisory Committee,
we
or
call it the MRAC.
There you go.
MRAC.
Yeah, MRAC. They're basically going to have 10 different rounds of proposals, and they're going to also be doing a lot of town halls to talk about this and hear people's concerns to make sure.
They have to take into consideration too, because this is how everything gets funded as well, right? So
It
like
is.
soil, water. I mean, so there's a lot of conversation about like what needs to be with what and where is the population. So there's so much that goes into this, but it is nice to know that there is a committee that's meeting that many times in order to make sure that they're doing this right.
Yep. And the next round that just happened, or the last round that just happened, they had like 30 people that showed up to talk about it. So your commissioners are there to listen to you, obviously. So make sure your voice is heard if you have passion on it. Yeah. Looking at this map, though, this is actually really interesting because look how big the two new districts potentially could be.
That's land.
That's all. That's insane. You think about how big Orange County is, and yeah, like 50% of it to the east is fairly rural.
Yeah, there's a lot of cows out there, some swamp.
It's Christmas and Chuliota.
It's acres and acres of farmland.
If people want to live in Orlando and you want to be close by, there actually is places that you could drive.
Literally, within an hour, and you could have yourself a nice little 10-acre farm, some cows and chickens.
This is true. This is true.
I have a good question that goes along with this.
Oh, let's hit me.
Yeah. So Ethan from Deltona asked, Orlando's growth feels like it's stretching farther every year. At what point do places like Deltona, Mount Dora, or even Daytona Beach start getting considered part of Orlando, of the Orlando area? Sorry.
That's so relevant. We were just talking about that.
How far out do you think that line will go before we reach the limit?
I think we're gonna get all the way to Georgia, and that's still Orlando.
It's all Orlando. So I do people come here that are relocating, that are working on the coast but want to live in Orlando, and that's like a very blended sort of thing. It's only you've sold a couple houses out there recently. It's an hour, 45
minutes. Yeah, to the beach, to Daytona Beach. I mean, you could literally have a home right there.
So I think the whole idea of Greater Orlando is going to continue to expand. Definitely
Greater Orlando for sure.
Yeah. Central Florida easily. It's funny. I go to some of these different events, and they say that, like with the city, they say that Central Florida is like 11 counties. That doesn't compute in my head. Like
Central Florida is 11 counties.
That's what they say. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's talk about some sports news. I think it's exciting. So Jags to Orlando. Orange County approves $29 million to attract major sports events.
Not enough.
So Orange County commissioners, speaking of our commissioners, by the way, this is the stuff that they vote on, voted 6-1 in favor of approving $29 million in tourist development tax incentives to fund relating attractive high-profile events. This includes hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be the WWE eventually. This is going to be UFC. There's a lot of things that they're trying to bring here to have more events in Orlando, which I think this is just totally a win.
Yeah, it's just expanding on our tourism, right? It's just making more things for us all to do. And I mean, locals love this stuff, right?
Yeah,
we love sporting events.
Totally. And I've never been to a WWE event in person, but if it was here, I'd go. For sure go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, definitely.
Like the first time I went to a Solar Bears game, I was like, this is amazing.
Exactly. I went to like my first Magic game, and then I got like season tickets the next day.
And then you had the Orlando Magic song stuck in your head on repeat over all the time. Magic.
So people don't understand how these TDT funds work, though. So the idea is that we have tourists that come here from all over the world. They spend money here, and some of that all of that tax is getting set aside to reinvest back in our community.
So we can't hate on the tourists because they're buying us things. That's essentially what you're saying, right?
It feels a little bit like a bribe, I guess. I don't even know. But no, I'm excited. I think that they take this money, and so they're going to have nearly $30 million that they're going to go to the Jags and say, hey, look at us. We got a cool spot.
Realistically, I mean, that does sound like a lot of money, but in the sporting world,
No,
that's going to be gone in like a second.
Totally nailed it. All right, let's go with some questions over here. So the Benny family, is it true that luxury community being proposed as, there we go. Is there true that there's a luxury community being proposed or planned in the future by Disney? I forgot the community's name, but apparently they're saying that they're going to be $15 million homes. Oh, you're talking about Magnifica. And I don't like to talk about Magnifica too much because there hasn't been a lot of it announced that actually is tangible. So who owns the property, what's actually going to be there, the builders that are going to be there. It's been a lot of like blue sky so far. And so once it actually comes down to reality of like, this is happening, dirt is moving, I'll jump right on it.
We need fact checks here, guys.
I try. I do my darndest.
Sources. We need MLS format.
Exactly. Let's keep going now. So we've got Dawn checking in. Hey, I'm currently working Fallon on your team. She's amazing. Looking forward a second Fallon. It's basically like the Kristen and Fallon show. I'm just here to just.
You don't even need to be here. Get out of here. I got this.
This is so good. Right underneath that, we're moving from San Francisco Bay Area, California, to Point Siena. That's super excited. 1 month to go. That's awesome. Welcome. Let's see. Benoit. Hooray. Ooh, I got it. First time. Do you guys know how much the new single family homes in a state at Lake Kaywood in front of the high school Windermere? No. So that's going to be Ashton Woods. I think it's a townhome community from what I understand. I think it's like 55 townhomes, but I do not know pricing.
I don't think they've released the pricing yet. But
they are moving, having you ask that question, you know that they are moving dirt quite a bit. And so it went from this open field to where now they're putting in retention ponds and all that. My guess is that they're probably going to release that later this year.
Yay. I love Ashton Woods.
Yeah.
It's such great products.
They do. Let's go to the mailbag. What else you got there?
Oh, you want to just keep going through? I have a ton here.
These are great questions. These are so Spencer and Fam says, any estimate on the connection between 429 and Point Siena Parkway? So I mentioned this in our video. We did a whole video on like the biggest infrastructure things going on here in Orlando. And so it's kind of in the design phase right now. And so my guess is that it's probably another 3 to 5 years away.
Design usually takes like a year and a half.
Yeah. It depends on how much pushback they have and like, do they need to refine the design based on the financials? And so, you're probably 3 to 5 years before they see anything significant.
So many roads.
It is. I'm like, I know that the road folks, some people hate roads and they're like, I don't know why.
But like,
they're
then we don't have to take I-4.
Exactly.
That's the goal. That's the dream.
That is the dream. So keep going. Joel, hey, how's the whole home insurance madness faring in the current moment?
Oh my gosh, I could talk about this all day long.
Go.
So home insurance is really, really dependent on the home product, right?
Yeah,
so new construction, almost never having any issues. It's great rates. I mean, I've had people with a 3,000 square foot home quoted at under $2,000 a year for their insurance policy, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of different nuances that we can go into. It really only starts to play a factor when you're looking at older homes because we do have very picky insurance companies here. You can thank the coast for that. And I can go into like a 45-minute TED talk on insurance fraud, but I won't do that today. But ultimately, newer homes are going to be easier to bind. And then if you've got an older home, there's just some things that we have to look out for, like roof age, AC, hot water heater, type of plumbing and electric. And if those things are fine, then you're not going to have any issues. And homeowners are really aware of this now. So when they're putting their homes on the market, most of them are either fixing these things in advance or pricing it appropriately, knowing that it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. We had an insurance broker come out to our office 2 weeks ago, and they were just kind of talking about there's 8 new carriers that came back to Florida. And obviously that's going to take probably a year to start flushing out, where we start seeing competition affect rates and having those come down. But you're right, new construction, you're definitely going to get some of the easier rates for sure.
Very easy.
Spencer says, hey, any update on Disney-owned expansion plans? That portion of Western Way east of 429. Press release was 30 million upgrades. Disney-owned expansion plan for portion of Western Way
east of 429.
I think west of 429.
I thought, west of 429.
So Western Way going west of 429 and then going into Clermont. Is that what you're talking about? If that's the case, let us know down below. That's coming forward. Let's see. Benoit Perret says, hey, question for you, Ken. We live in Horizon West, so we think about going to Celebration. What's your opinion on both areas? Will you ever go back to Celebration?
Oh, it's so cute. I love Celebration.
I was literally just there today. We love Celebration, but we've kind of been entrenched in Horizon West now with schools and our house. And we finally got our house exactly the way we want it. And so I don't really think I'm going to be moving. But
you said the next time you move is going to be lakefront.
That's true. And Celebration and Horizon West, neither of those really have lakefront.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to move anywhere, it's probably going to be the Butler chain. That would be my dream.
I'm going to Winter Park.
Okay, fair enough. But celebration. I think my question to you, sir, is why? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
And then I can help kind of guide you a little bit more on that.
Yeah. What do you feel that maybe you're in Horizon West now? Is that what he said? Or what do you feel that you're missing?
Mhm.
And maybe we'll see if Celebration has that,
Yeah,
or
for
if
sure.
it's, the same.
It's good. Mohammed over on Facebook says, I see some updates on New Orlando Dreamers. Do you think it's gonna? Do you will it happen too?
Do you think it's going to happen?
Do I think it's
Do
gonna
you think
happen?
it's gonna
Sorry,
happen?
I'm sorry. Also, do you have any projects by the Millennia area? So Orlando Dreamers. We just talked about that.
We did just
obviously.
talk about the Dreamers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think here's the thing. Could it be the Rays moving up here? The fact that they have $1.5 billion set aside to woo the MLB to bring somebody back here or bring a team here, I think
be
is
so
a
cool.
good start at least.
Well, we had no signal moment.
It's good. No,
But we're
sorry.
back. We're back.
Good deal. All right, let's keep going over to the mailbag there, Chase.
All righty. Let's see here. Rachel from Soto asked, the Under Eye project seemed like it had big potential for reactivating the space under I-4, but progress feels slow. Is that project still moving forward? And will it actually bring people downtown or just look nice on paper?
What do you think? Have you seen it?
I want downtown to just do so many of these projects because I think there's so much potential in this area. And I agree. I do feel like it's slow moving, but you have to think like it's a massive undertaking. There's so much involved with it. And frankly, is it really revenue bringing, and it's more so just a big spend. It's not like we're charging people to come experience these beautiful parks. So
Yep.
the city really has to think about these things before they just dump a bunch of money
Yeah, of course.
into them. Like
Makes total sense. Yeah. So look, this is Chase. If you want to show this on the screen, this is what it looks like. The Under I-4 project. So it's got some different iterations. I mean, some of it has public art. It's going to be lit up at night. If you look at this was the original plan where it had like sports courts and all this other stuff. That's been changed to where now it's going to reflect more parking. And so there'll be, revenue generating parking if it's not.
parking
Hopefully.
could be revenue generating,
Yeah.
but yeah, then it's also the maintenance and all of that too. Like I'm all for it.
Sure.
I understand why it's not like being jumped on.
I think it's also going to be, a lot of people say, well, that area right now, people are going to be sleeping there at night. It could be a little rough.
Because people are already sleeping there
yeah.
at night.
But I will tell you, viewer, I forget the name off the top of my head. But basically, I have an interview coming out on Saturday. Finally, it took us a few weeks to get it edited and out. But on Saturday, I the interview with David Barilla, who's running downtown Orlando's redevelopment. We had a great conversation around this specifically, as well as homelessness and like the redevelopment of bringing businesses downtown. A lot of really cool things were in that conversation. So make sure you check it out on the Orlando Reel channel on Saturday.
Check us out. That was a good tag.
Thank you.
Orlando Reel. The Orlando Reel. The Orlando
Reel. All right, let's talk about church turned townhome hits market. This is kind of cool.
Is so cool. And this is what I love about downtown Orlando, because you don't see stuff like this in Horizon West. No shade on Horizon West. A lot of new construction. This was a church.
This was a church.
And they turned it into luxury townhomes, and they kept a lot of the original architecture. So there's doors in there. Yeah. The exterior still very much looks like a church. It's right in downtown. It's right next to Eola Heights. So literally one street away from Lake Eola.
Currently asking $1.695.
Which to me, honestly, does not sound like a large number for that area.
Yeah.
I recognize that's wild money.
It says
but for that area?
For that area, it's pretty good. The residents of one of 5 units have converted the Pentecostal church, which was built in 1928.
1920.
Renovations are on a quarter-acre estates that are completed in 2017.
This is like my dream. I love these things.
So you live in an old church.
How cool is that? That's so cool and unique.
No, it is really unique for sure. So speaking of maybe not as unique, but going back to new construction, what do you know about the Wellness Way area, the Clermont area?
I know that the Wellness Way area has a lot of brand new construction homes. A lot of them are a little bit more affordable just because they're further out than kind of more centralized. Like Horizon West kind of pushed everybody out. And so it is a lot more, townhomes, starter single family homes, I would say. Mm-hmm. I've helped a lot of investors buy in that area.
And things are starting to change.
Tell me more.
All right, so we got a luxury home builder. Toll Brothers is locking down a spot in Wellness Way.
Toll Brothers, luxury builder.
I always like it. So I think Bree on our team's one who says like you follow Toll Brothers and you kind of know where the next thing is going to be. And I was like, That's actually really
That's
true.
so true.
That's really, really true.
That's
So
so
they
true.
went to Horizon West. They were one of the first big builders
They're
there.
like the Whole Foods of the grocery store
Oh, that's a
industry.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
wherever
yeah.
they're going,
They're
it's gonna be
they're in a,
nice.
They're in Apopka.
They're
now,
in Apopka.
multiple ways.
They're in Apopka now.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is Wellness Way Project. This is from James, our friend over at this is Orlando Sentinel. So we've got Toll Brothers will soon be joining the long list of builders in Lake County's boom. They're going to be right up over on, let's see,
Where are they going to be?
Panther Run. Oh, right over there. I mean, Wellness Way. So it's right
It's
there,
Wellness Way,
next
right
to,
there.
next to where the Pulte community is over there. So like that whole connection between Horizon West and Wellness Way is getting more and more
Nice.
builders. I think it's interesting because before, like you said, there's a lot of tenant friendly or investment friendly, first time home buyer builders. Like the Lennar was there and they're cranking out homes left and right. But like like Horizon West, where they had multiple different builders. Finally, this Clermont area is getting a little bit more than just those entry level builders.
Yeah, they have entry and then they've got the mid tier, but they don't have any luxury. So this is going to be interesting to see like how they price this when they start out.
For sure. And I think even Pulte's community there, Ridgeview, it's Ridgeview.
Great.
Yeah. So, and they're actually, they sold 40 properties there last month and they're raising their prices when every other builder in the area is starting to lose. Yeah. Lower
Pulte's
prices.
Rocking it over there. We love it.
So you think people, because they think right next door, you could see Orange County and you're like, okay, so I'm going to save $200,000.
You're right there.
And you're right there. Makes sense. I can kind of see why it's happening.
So if you're into the Toll Brothers product and you want a luxury home, these are probably going to be priced well initially. And then as they develop, they're going to go up and up and up. That's what we saw on Horizon West.
We did. Yeah. I remember like Lakeshore, you could get something in there for like in the 500s and now you can't.
Wild.
Yeah. And now you can't really touch it for 8 or 9.
8 or 9.
All right, so let's talk about another one. Onks. I think I'm going to call it Onks. There's no Y. It's not Onyx, but it's like Onks. Yeah. Anyways, Homes planning unique Minneola townhouse community in the Live Local Act. So we talked about
that like 3D printed thing or like the
yeah. So these, I mean, I think that it's interesting with the way that they've got the door and the elevation here. But these houses are insane because here we go. It says 178 fee simple rental townhomes are going to be at the intersect of 27 and Sullivan Road. But I'm more so obsessed with how they're building it. So X Construction can mold cast entire structures and build homes in as little as 30 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
A factory and homestead builds the kitchens and bathroom pods, and then you kind of put them out and build them like
so there you
Lego
go.
set.
You could be like, I want 3 bathrooms. They're like, got it. Ship them out.
Yeah. And so they're mostly concrete and they can withstand winds of 175 miles an hour.
Perfect.
Chase, would you buy one of these?
I don't personally love the way they look, but it is cool that they can withstand hurricane level winds.
And it sounds like, I'm hoping, we'll see, that these will be a little more affordable because they've streamlined how they build them, right?
Yeah.
So they're cutting maybe a lot of that labor cost.
Yeah,
and maybe they'll pass that on to the consumer. Maybe.
It's hopefully the starting prices, which they don't have on here. They're going to fit as a 26-acre townhouse development, and they're going to fit. Where
is this in Minneola?
178. It's on 27
Highway 27
and
Sullivan Road. Interesting.
Yep. But utilizing the Live Local Act basically allows them to put more density on the property. And basically, if they can show that they're able to work through more affordable housing. And so the fact that they're doing that, this is what they're hoping will catch on for the rest of Orange County.
That's nice. That's nice. We love
Or this is Lake County, but like
Lake County.
I do love the 3D print idea.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's huge.
Well, any way to cut costs, like we do need more affordable homes, so this is fantastic.
Totally. Let's go back over the questions, and then we'll hit the mailbag. So,
we got a ton.
Is Ken a car guy? No.
Not at
really.
all. He's a shoe guy, though.
I am a shoe
what
guy.
you wearing today?
Just like some old J's.
I don't even know what he said, but it's got a Nike swoosh on it.
He also asked about the McLaren dealership.
Yeah. So Stanley says, "Hey, did I see the new McLaren dealership moved here to Orlando last week? So it's over in Winter Park. Actually, know the owners, and so super cool people in the mortgage industry. And
that's close to Winter Park Village, right?
Yeah. And so what a cool spot, because I think they were, from what I remember, they were operating out of Titusville or something like that. Was where their dealership originally was.
That really just clasped that whole street up.
Oh, it really
driving
did.
by in those fancy cars in the big glass building.
Yeah, it's
Winter
gorgeous.
Park's so special.
All right, what other ones we got, Chase? Have you ever heard of Lake Wales Express project? I haven't.
Tell us more.
Hey, I'm Ken. I'm hearing Governor DeSantis is taking out Florida property taxes. Is the housing market going to boom? Well, listen. So this is a very interesting conversation.
We've talked about this.
So it's like, okay, where's that money come from for schools and for for firefighters and all that kind of stuff, it's most likely going to be from some sort of sales tax.
Right.
That's where like the number one place that people can say. Now, if they have some other trick in their bag, who knows? But would it? Yeah, I mean, I think I do think about retirees and people that move here because they want to have fixed income. So now you have no state income tax, no real estate tax. Now you own your property outright. Like I get it.
You won't get priced out of your home because your taxes
For sure.
continue to go up. Yeah.
But then what's the converse of that? Like, where's that money going to come from? And
Yeah.
I had heard, I was interviewing somebody, actually, this was off record, so I won't say who it is, but he was saying that the interesting thing about all this real estate tax information is you could have one municipality say, well, we want the best parks and the best firefighters and the best schools and the best everything. And we're willing to, if our people vote for millages to raise the taxes, they're basically all coming in and saying like a Winter Park.
Yes, we'll pay more in taxes
We'll pay
so we
more in
can have
taxes.
this. And if you take that away, then you don't have it. Also, renters.
Yeah, renters could be adversely affected, right? Because if you
Right.
don't own your property, you don't care that
They're not paying taxes,
but you're still paying
But now they're
sales tax.
essentially, they might get hit over the head with a sales
Yeah.
tax. So there's a lot to consider in
There's
that.
lots to consider. And so I wonder, like, could there be a higher homestead tax? Could there be, once you hit a certain age, that your real estate tax gets reduced? I think there's ways that we could help the people that they're
Yeah.
trying to help without completely eliminating the system.
I think that would probably be a good idea, right? Because
Yeah.
the Save Our Homes tax is really, really
Mhm.
beneficial. So maybe
is.
after a certain amount of years in the property or something, it could be reduced because like Florida's prices did grow up a lot. So
They grew up a
taxes
lot.
are,
Yeah, that's for sure.
taxes are a little
Little-
strong right now.
Yeah. Driftwood says, I see inventory climbing and houses are sitting. Are we in for a crash? So like we mentioned earlier, I think like some areas, crash is probably a pretty strong word, but are we going to see prices decline? Yeah, we already
Struggling,
have, for sure. In other areas, they continue to go up. There's an interesting one over here, Chase. If you look, this is our 7-day look back on the MLS. And so I look at what are the new listings. So there's 1,700 new listings. We had a ton of price decreases, but we had 1,600 properties sell.
Very close.
Very, very close. And then you look at the pendings, that number is starting to pick up. That was like 1,000 or 1,100 just a month ago. So seeing the pendings pick up, that's the number I pay most attention to.
Yes.
And then I look at expireds, canceled, people pulling their house off the market.
A lot less canceled than we've seen recently.
That's right. Yeah. And so listen, I'm not here to say any rosy pictures. Like I think the market's not taking off 10% year over year. It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Not now. Do I think it's going to pull back 30% like people are saying online? Oh, that seems unlikely.
I think we'd see signs of that already if that were the case,
Right.
right?
Yeah. So even that Redfin report earlier, they were thinking that Florida in general is probably going to pull back somewhere around 2%. But again, it's going to be super hyper local.
I feel like I may be crazy, but I feel like something absolutely insane would have to happen. Like we're in a world where that's just what the prices are now.
In many areas,
I've always said, and I think I got this from you actually. I probably just repeat everything you say like a parrot. But I remember you saying like Florida's been discounted for a very long time,
Yeah.
and then COVID happened, and it's like people realize, oh, this is an amazing place to live,
Yeah,
right?
there's a
And
lot.
so
Yeah. Well, we're getting a lot less people like. So people were saying last year that our domestic migration has slowed down, and it's a lot of international people that are moving here, and so we had a net growth year over year, but a lot less people from like Texas moving to Florida, and so California moving to Florida. Yeah, so we're still an international destination, and I think the reason why I love Orlando specifically is because we have that very diverse. All of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we're very tourism and hospitality driven, but now we have a lot of these other things coming in, which are
brings
just
in lots of different cuisines and restaurants
Yeah,
and
for sure.
experiences. So there's just a lot to do. Woo, love it.
Whoop, whoop. All right, here we go. Let's go fireworks fun.
Fireworks fun.
So, hey, Ken, I want to buy a lot in Sorrento Redtail on the estate side and build from scratch. How does that work? I have they have a nicer 1 acre lot, and I see for 180.
You know
I'm
who
very
this
interested.
person should talk to.
He also said this right after.
Oh, go ahead. Click what is next.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, I tried Bella Colina, but those similar lot sizes are $1 million. Big difference. And I think Redtail is just fine for us. So we have somebody on our team, Bree Tucker. She lives in Redtail. And dominates that neighborhood. So if you want to reach out, we've got builders lined up that we can talk to you and give you just insight into what's going on in the neighborhood for sure. Chase, want to go to the mailbag one more time before I go over to the next story?
You got it. Let's see here.
And while he's looking, you guys, make sure you just give us a little thumbs up if you don't mind. It helps people know what's going on with the video, pushes it out to their algorithm. And we just pitched 200 people watching live for the first time in a while.
That's a lot of people.
It's because you're here, Kristen.
Hello. No.
Here we got a question from Hayden from Chicago. Hey, Ken, I've been seriously thinking about moving to Orlando, but I'm not sure where to even begin. How much money do I realistically need to have saved to make the move, whether I'm renting or buying? And what are the biggest things people usually overlook when relocating here for the first time?
All right, so let's chunk it down. So let's say you're going to rent first. Okay, that's an easy one. You're going to have, typically it's a 1 month, for deposit, and then your first month's rent.
Mhm.
And then if you have pets or
another
anything, it's like
$500 to $900 in security deposits for them typically, right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you got, $3,000 rent and then $3,000 security deposit, then you're talking about $7,000 or so to get you started. So that's that. Buying a house, there's so many different ways that you could go.
Yeah. We actually do a buyer strategy session with every single one of our clients to kind of educate them on like what you're going to need to buy a home today. We talk about new construction and resale, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to have your closing costs and you're going to have your down payment. Those are your two big costs associated with buying a house. Closing costs are typically 3% of your purchase price, and down payment depends on how much you want to put down and your debt to income ratio. That's a conversation between you and your lender. But usually that can be at a minimum 3% as well. So on average, you're looking at about 6% of the purchase price that you'll need in cash to buy a home. And then there's some smaller things in there like inspection fees and things like that. They're anywhere from $500 to $1,500. But for every $100,000, just think 3,000.
Yeah, that's about right. So, and you could put a lot more down if you want to, if you want to lower payments. Depends on if you're going VA and hey, I don't have to put a down payment down. So there's just so many things to go through. But yeah, so 6 to 7% or so on the closing costs.
And I mean, we are also in a buyer's market. So there are a lot of sellers and builders who are paying their closing costs. You may even need less. You may only need your down payment. So there's a lot of different opportunities. We really just would talk to you about what you're looking for and what you like. And then we would try to match make you from there.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question. And
nice pitch. Do you like it?
last one, like the unexpected costs. I think one first comes to mind is toll roads. People don't expect that they're going to have to pay for toll roads. That's like, what do you pay for? I know what I pay.
I am totally bad about even knowing.
Oh, so
it's just part of life. Like, what am I supposed to do about it?
Sure.
Nothing.
The roads are smooth and I don't get stuck in traffic most times.
Too, because it's a driving place. Like we don't have a lot of public transportation that's really affordable. I mean, or unless you have an electric vehicle, but then that's going to be part of your cost for your home bills as well.
Totally.
What else?
So the toll roads, I drive a ton. Like we just bought a new car like 3 months ago. I've already got 7,000 miles on it.
My car is 6 months old and I have 20,000 miles on it.
You and I are
and it's a lease.
Oh no, Kristen. So I pay like $70 a month for toll roads.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a lot.
And I
for people who drive.
For people that drive.
Yeah.
But I use like the toll road up and down I-4. Like I'm constantly not on a toll road because I'm always in the car.
Right. Literally.
Yeah. And we can write it off. So what other things I'm trying to think of, like, okay, so if you are going to do something, you want to move to Orlando to take advantage of the theme parks.
Are you coming here for theme parks? Because that's a huge expense.
You need to think about the budget.
And are you doing all the theme parks? Or are you choosing like, hey, we'll do Disney this year, we'll do Universal this year?
That's actually funny that you say that, because a lot of our clients, they'll start Disney people and they're like, I think I'm gonna let my Disney pass go and now I'm gonna go
that
do
never
Universal.
Works, by the way. They always get the Disney
come back.
pass back.
But those cost, $750 to $1,100.
Oh, wild per person.
Yeah. So those are some of the unexpected costs. I don't know beyond that. I don't know that. I was surprised beyond that. But anyways,
I think those are only the.
Speaking of things that cost me money, the Boathouse in Orlando. We love this place. I thought this was an interesting one. So the restaurant business came out with an article of the top most grossing restaurants in the country.
Get out of here.
And so Boathouse used to be number one. Number one now is Joe's Stone Crab.
What?
Yeah. And then Mila, I think this is in Miami. And then number three rather, is Boathouse. Yeah, I'm right.
This is in Miami.
Yeah, in Miami. $49 million in annual sales. Average check is $188. They served
Mediterranean.
Yeah, so that's in Miami. But Boathouse, this is interesting. So average check size $48. That seems like a lot to me. But maybe
because you go there all the time.
I go all the time.
Like it's $70.
Well, yeah, no. Well, I've got five people to feed, and it adds up. Meals served though, almost 1 million meals served in 2024.
Can I be honest? I've never been.
Are you serious?
I've never been to
it's a great spot for if you're going to grab a drink on the water, and then all the way to like if you're into seafood, they've got crab, crazy stuff. We like steak, but their buns and the butter, it's just
rolls.
Do they like served at the table?
Yeah,
almost like the lobster rolls from what was that?
Better.
Chase is drooling back there.
Yeah, I love Boathouse. It's one of my favorites.
I have to go now. I'm going to only spend $48 though. That's my expectation.
Or less. That's not happening.
See, right? Isn't that crazy? But that's crazy thing here in Orlando, one of the top grossing places in the entire country. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Chase, we have any more in the mailbag before I go to my next story?
We have a ton of questions coming in. They're just rolling in.
Oh, I missed them over here. The starred ones.
There's a bunch
Oh
of
wow,
starred
there are a
ones.
lot. Okay.
You could just look through them and tell me which one to pull.
Captain Candy says, "Hey, have you heard about the Eola Food Hall in downtown Orlando? Is this the new one that was rebranded? What's the rebrand of Hall on Yard?
Is that the Ola?
I don't think it's that one, is
I don't
it?
think it is.
don't-
No.
no.
City Food. That's called City
City
Food
Food.
Hall. Let me see. I'm actually curious now. Somebody mentioned it last time we were on. So if you guys didn't know, in
I
Ivanhoe
love it.
Village, Hall on Yard, which is probably the nicest food hall I've ever seen, and yet they closed because it seems as though mismanagement, what they're telling us. City Food Hall is now open in Orlando with 12,000 square feet of space and 10 chef-driven vendors with bars, outdoor spaces, and that sort of thing. Let's see who's in there, though.
Orlando loves this kind of thing.
They
love
do.
a buffet style like, food experience. I want one of everything.
Okay, so wait, so here's that. So you've got Smash Dunk, they're smash burgers with bold flavor. Cheese to share. That's an interesting one. I feel like
everybody loves
Chase, did they
cheese.
reach out to us to cover that cheese to share?
I don't know. I don't think so, but
Well, they
I
should.
I would love some cheese to share.
Takagi family owned, that's Japanese ramen. Blessed Belly, that's going to be Italian. No,
Authentic.
it's authentic
birria.
Mexican.
Tacos.
Birria tacos.
Ooh.
How do you say that?
Kalaloo.
Kalaloo. It's Caribbean flavors. You've got Egg Dose, delivers bold premium egg sandwiches.
Oh, that's gonna be fire.
That actually looks great.
Taglish.
Vibrant Philippine of the Philippines. That's a really good, like, wide variety.
This
as well.
is literally proving our point on how we're just a huge melting pot of
It
people
is.
because of tourism. Because look at all the different varieties of cuisine you
it
have
really
here,
is.
and these things thrive in Orlando because we all have different friends from different backgrounds, and we want to go and all eat our favorite food.
I agree.
Tacos for me, please.
Tacos. It's
Cheese
not-
for Chase.
Cheese for Chase, and I guess I'll have it for Egg Dose. Kind of sounds amazing.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Maybe I'll take an egg and put it on the Smash Dunk. So yeah, I'm stoked about this. I need to go check out the new rebrand. Good for them. But anyways, going back to the
Great question. Thanks
Eola.
for putting us down that rabbit hole. This is why we love you guys.
Winston says, dude, getting wasted at a bar on the Space Coast. Had to check in. What's up, Ken and Kristen? My
Thanks
Thanks for
you.
tagging that one,
Thank
Chase.
you.
You're welcome. I thought it was so funny.
It's so funny. Winston is usually on a plane somewhere, flying over and trying to watch us live. So I appreciate it. Let's see. Bill says, is Winter Garden the best little town around Disney? It's so quaint and festive at Christmas.
Winter Garden, I would probably say Celebration's the most like quaint and festive around Disney. Winter Garden's doing a great job though.
Winter
It
Garden
really
doesn't
is.
feel forced. Like, I love Celebrations so much, but yeah, obviously you've got Snope falling from the sky. You know, it's
It feels like a
probably
theme
not
park.
legit.
a
It
little
feels
bit.
like, no, that's it. Yeah. It feels like a theme park. I think it's very it feels like that old movie town. I love it. There's nothing like Celebration, but Winter Garden, when you get out of your car at Christmas and the lights are going, the music's going, it just feels like
downtown Winter Garden.
downtown Winter Garden.
Well, I love when they do like the corn maze and
Oh,
all
yeah.
the Halloween stuff. It
Yep.
does feel like we're in like a movie.
It does. What
like a
about,
Hallmark movie.
it totally does. And
Yeah.
then Winter, and then like they've got the lights in the trees. It's magical. What about Winter Park?
I love Winter Park, but I feel like they don't do it. They're really good at their farmers market. The farmers market in Winter Park is probably the
Bananas.
best one
Agreed.
ever. And what Winter Park does really well is they have a lot of like run events and dog events. They do a
Mhm.
lot of that kind of stuff. I don't know. I would say Baldwin Park probably is a little bit more of that like charm
It does. Yeah.
around Christmas time.
It does. I mean, there's so many. We had Chase put a note. We got to create a list of like walkable downtowns because we do have a lot of like everything from Mount Dora to Winter Garden. I can hear him typing. Thank you, buddy.
He's literally typing. He's like, got it.
Got
I'm
it.
on it.
But there's a lot of, and then we should check
Yeah.
to see them out during the Christmas time and see which one has the best.
And you know what's really interesting is they do change because it depends on who moves here. Like one person in a community can go super hard. That was me for Halloween. And
Totally.
then our entire street was going hard. And then we had hundreds of kids on the block.
Catches on.
It's all it takes
Yeah,
is community.
it's
You
true.
can make it.
It's
You
true.
can do it.
You can be the catalyst for change and community. Let's talk about Florida wrestles with whether to ban phones in more schools. So two of Florida's largest school districts, Orange County here in Orlando and Broward County, have strengthened the restriction banning phone use for the entire school day. Are you young enough or old enough to have had a phone in school?
It's disrespectful that you would even ask me that. First
so
and
sorry.
foremost. No, we didn't really have cell phones until high school, and
Yeah.
they were flippies, and they
Sure.
really didn't have the internet
Yeah.
like they do now. So
My kids are very much so, like, they get to school, their phone's on do not disturb, it's in their bag. They are very nervous to get it taken away.
yeah,
And like this article from the Orlando Weekly says, that's basically what it was, is that over at Boone High School, they've got like 20 to 25 phones a day they're taking away from people. And so if they see them out for any reason,
High school's
taken
got to be
away.
hard though, because I mean, you use your phone to communicate with your parents, with your friends. And so they're just so used to being on it. I cannot imagine being like a kid in high school today with the technology that we have. It's got to be so challenging. I think it would probably be best to not have them as a distraction in the classroom,
Totally.
and then allow them like at lunchtime and breaks to get back to it, to check in. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a parent. How do you feel about it?
No, I think I want my kids to have their phone should they need it.
Yeah.
And like, especially after school stuff, kids are in activities and I want to be able to get a hold of them. But yeah, I do check out while you're in school.
Yeah.
Like focus on school. I think kids shouldn't be on social media and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
especially at school.
Yeah.
So I'm a supporter of our
Ban 'em!
and I think about I'm thinking about it from the perspective of the teachers as well.
Oh, it's got to be
Could you
frustrating.
imagine looking out at 20, 30 kids and they all have their no.
I think my biggest thing is with AI now. I mean, you would just never learn anything. You could just cheat on everything.
It's like having a calculator for the math test, right?
Oh,
yeah. You just, it is a tool. And in real life, we're going to be using that. We use it all the time. We open AI and chat GPT, pretty much everything now.
Yeah.
So it is something that we definitely want kids to know how to use, but also critical thinking is important too, right? I don't know. This is like a really long conversation we could get into. What's next, Ken?
All right. So so this is an interesting one. All right. So somebody asked a question, fun question. What's the average net worth of people buying in Golden Oak? LOL. I will tell you, it's a lot. Yeah. So the fact that so many of them, it's their second or third home, you have to think about that. And so I ran it just real quick. So ideally, how much do you have to be worth to buy a $5 million house, which is an entry level house in Golden Oak? You need to be worth something like, they say $16 million, maybe. Okay.
I know that we've got people that are not, their net worth isn't that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's some people that are like, it
is their forever home.
Correct.
Or it is a home that they're planning on having for a very long time. It's not a second home for them.
Yeah. Well, even outside of Golden Oak, let's talk just the luxury market in general, like Isleworth, Golden Oak, Keens Point, maybe some other ones, like Nona Country Club and that sort of thing. So yeah, sometimes people are
Park neighborhoods
a lot of Winter Park, right? Some of these people are just scraping by to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Like they're just getting in, and other people, this is like their third, fourth house, and they dropped $10 million on a house like it was a car.
It's a huge variety,
Yeah,
I would say.
It is a very huge variety. Fun question though. I love that.
Great question.
Not
right. My net worth.
Let's see. Best place to live. All right. So DB says best place to live with 2 toddlers, big yards, and close to Disney. Good schools, please. So we're not allowed to talk good schools per se. We could send you some good articles and some good resources. As real estate agents, we're just not supposed to steer people which this is a good area, this is a bad area based on schools. That being said, what are some areas around Disney that have good backyards? Should you need a big backyard for a family?
Lake Star by MI has gorgeous backyards. Ashton Woods,
Mhm.
North Lake has beautiful backyards.
Yep.
There are a lot of Toll Brothers actually over in Ovation has some great backyards. A lot of Hamlin has great backyards. York,
Overlook at Hamlin has really good backyards.
Great backyards.
Ours, I feel like we're in a neighborhood where
it slopes down.
It slopes down, and I feel like, and we live in Horizon West. I feel like, you either have a pool and no yard, or you have a great yard. Like it's really hard to have both, which is so similar to like everything else around Disney.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty
Celebration. Most of the stuff's rear entry, so you have no yard.
No yard. They squeeze that little pool in there.
The spool. I'm trying to think of anybody else or any other spots that are close by.
You can like older Winter Garden. There's a lot of larger lots over here at this side where our office is, but that's going to put you 30 minutes to the theme parks instead of 15.
Somebody in our team, Grace, just sold a house in Royal Oak Estates off of like right in Orlando, right next to cast member parking. Those actually have really great lots. You can have a pool and a yard.
Yeah, I would say Windermere has more.
Yeah.
Than Winter Garden.
Totally. Chase, any more before we go? We're gonna wrap up in just a little bit.
Let's see here. I thought this one was interesting, but I don't know if you can. Oh wait, not that one. This one.
Hola, Ken and Kristen. What are your top 5 builders in the Central Florida area? Does any one builder stand out in terms of the rest, in terms of diversity and quality? I've got mine. I want to hear yours.
You're gonna make me go first?
Yeah. I'll tweak it if.
Okay. I really, really love Rockwell's elevations. I think they do really beautiful the front of their homes are stunning.
Totally.
And they're all very diverse. I'm a sucker for an Ashton Woods
floor
plan.
Agreed.
Love me an Ashton Woods floor plan.
Their floor plans are so well thought out.
So
and I feel like they do they're not super high end. They're not low end. They're like a really great mid building.
And they have the like the hardy board like cement siding.
Siding.
So it's like a different look rather than just like a stucco siding. It's that nice lined look, which I just love. I think Lake Star MI's got some really pretty front exposures as well.
I think so. So let's go all of Central Florida though. So if you think about your top, who are your top 2 favorite production builders?
Production builders.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna put Ashton Woods in the top for sure. And then, I mean, I think probably Toll Brothers does a really good job
In terms of quality and
in terms of quality.
Yeah. And then I think I really like David Weekley. I think that they have a good variety. It is going to be product dependent based on neighborhood, based on area.
Like Dreamfinders too.
Dreamfinders that way too. Yeah. Some areas of town where it's like they crush it and you're like the product and the fit and finish and you could tell the trades really cared. And then other areas you're like, what happened? And then we have to go back through and make it all work.
And be like, we love this builder except for this community.
You're going to really need to work on this a little bit more. Let's see.
I have one more that I think is interesting from Jonathan here.
Ken, what specific areas look at zombie houses like the old A&E show? I think that was here, wasn't it, Chase?
Zombie houses.
I think so.
I actually think it was specifically looking for areas that might have a comeback, but maybe have houses that need tough love. I think this is anywhere downtown.
It's all downtown.
Yeah, I mean,
literally all of downtown.
Yeah, like, and this is if you want an investment that actually pays off. I mean, there's some areas where you could invest in some of these old houses and not get your money back. But I think, like
we're talking the crusty houses.
Yeah.
Oh, downtown all day. It's wild that you can walk into one of these downtown homes for sale and it's listed for $700,000 and it's under 2,000 square feet.
Right. But I mean, okay, so like we both own places in Soto.
In both, yeah.
And so there's
Soto's where it's at.
I think Soto, you got some of these old houses that are on stilts next to brand new gorgeous houses, right? And so you could find a zombie house that's like pseudo boarded up.
But that's what we found.
I know.
That's
and then your house is gorgeous.
Now it's great. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
There's plenty of that stuff in the downtown area. That's where I would look if I were you.
I would absolutely. I think there's also some areas in Winter Park too that you can find a lot of that. Audubon Park's a really great location, but again, that's all downtown.
Oh, look what Spencer said.
Kristen decorate?
I did.
There you go. Spencer and fam. Yeah,
I did. She's a rental now. She was.
But she was. All right. So this is the last story I'm going to talk about, and then we'll probably pop over to anyone else. So mom sues Disney for $2 million over mammoth wave at Typhoon Lagoon. And so I was looking through this story, and apparently this New York woman who came to Disney went to Typhoon Lagoon with their daughter and was waiting at the bottom of the
kiddie slide.
The kiddie slide, yeah. So the 4-year-old daughter was coming down the kiddie slide, and this sudden, violent, forceful wave suddenly struck her and hurt her feet. And now it's just permanent and ruined her vacation. How many stories do you feel like? Oh, by the way, and she wants $2 million. I'm not saying I'm not going to make fun of anybody's getting hurt, but how many times have you been at a wave pool?
Every time I go to a wave pool,
and you get knocked over.
I get scuffed and scraped, but that's part of the
You almost expect it at this point, right? Chase, have you been to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach?
I have.
And have you ever gotten knocked over?
I think that comes with the territory.
You're kind of expecting it, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think it's with these people that are on vacation. There was one time I remember I was at Disney and I was walking past and there was a woman with 2 kids that were just like playing. You're at Disney and they're waiting around and they kind of bumped into her and she started screaming and was like, I need someone to help me. And it's just, I feel like people are looking sometimes for opportunity.
Sometimes there are definitely people who are looking for opportunity. And I mean, everybody jokes like, oh, you sue Disney, you'll be rich. But I mean, they're good luck.
It's like McDonald's and hot coffee. It's like I dropped hot coffee on my lap and now I'm going to get $1 million.
We can actually go down that rabbit hole because that hot coffee was actually wildly hot, inappropriately hot. So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But there are people who will take advantage.
There's plenty of people that will take advantage, sadly.
And then there are people who maybe she just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe she wasn't.
She really got hurt, But I think that you sign a waiver when you buy these tickets, knowing that that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah. Last thing I'm going to talk about. I know I said last thing already, but last thing. So because Joel asked a really good question. If you want to bring up his question there, Chase, he says, "How's overall tourism doing?" I ask because I keep seeing that Vegas attendance is way down.
I was just in Vegas.
How was it?
It was kind of quiet.
Yeah, I mean, for Vegas, I'm hearing a lot. Like Vegas, you start to see a lot of things during like recessions and when people are pulling back, where all of a sudden Disney starts offering like dining again, or
Yeah.
like, all of a sudden there's a huge Florida push for Florida residents get $200 off a
Or you
hotel
see
room.
Club 33 is like being advertised for the first
That's
time
what-
ever.
Is that in LA or here?
I think it was in LA.
Oh yeah, LA,
Yeah.
but so overall, I feel like tourism is definitely, it feels a little slower in the parks, and yet Epic Universe is coming out. So this is one thing that maybe is an interesting thing. So Epic Universe, Universal Orlando offers general public opportunity to preview the new park before it opens, and so a lot of people were mad about this because they were buying 3-day tickets, and it was like we were told you had to have either AP or 3-day tickets, and now like anybody can buy a 1-day. Does that mean that maybe overall attendance is down?
I don't know. I think they're just still trying to figure things out, right? I mean, it's a brand new park. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of nuance. I think we're expecting to see what blows my mind a little bit, and I hope to see this change, is that they close at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's not as bad as Animal Kingdom closing at like 4.
But Animal Kingdom makes sense because there's animals need CPs. You know
I
what I
know,
mean?
but
It's night time.
You need to be yes and no. I want to experience Pandora at like 10 p.m.
That would be so sad.
Magic Kingdom is regularly open until like 11 o'clock.
What used to be open until 2 a.m.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
I do. I remember I used to go take photos there like after midnight, and it was like
and it was
freezing.
sick.
Yeah.
And think about Epic at night. I mean, all of
It's
the
built to
work
be.
that people have put into the lighting and the pathways. So I'm anticipating that that's not going to be a consistent thing.
Yeah.
But they are, they're bringing in new rules now too that they've just brought in out of nowhere. Like you cannot drink alcohol if you get your face painted as a monster.
I kind of love this though. this so wait, slow down that
do
again.
you think-
So okay, you can't drink alcohol and then also get your face painted at Epic.
So at Epic and Monsters Unchained,
Mhm.
you can get your face painted,
Sure.
child or adult, as a monster.
Of course.
And they've
As
now
one
made
does.
a rule that if you do that, you cannot order alcohol. And their ruling behind that is that you no longer look like your ID. But I'm thinking that maybe they just don't want drunk monsters walking around because they have so many character performers that walk around that are actually in full costume. And so maybe they don't want people to think that somebody is working for the park and it's just an inebriated Frankenstein walking around the park. I don't know.
So
I just think it's hilarious.
So All Ears had a article that said, so if you're heading into Universal Epic Universe, when it opens later this year, be sure to study up on all the latest rule changes, of which one is that, according to Universal, it says guests will not be able to purchase or consume alcoholic beverages on any theme park. So not even just, or City Walk,
with makeup.
while you're in the makeup.
So is it worth it?
I mean, I think
I
so.
would do it.
I would rather have makeup on my face.
Me too. I want to be a monster.
All right,
That
so
sounds
listen,
fun.
right, yeah. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. We actually had a record show for the past year or so. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with me, Kristen.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me.
And if you guys are looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Make sure you reach out at theorlandoreal.com/YouTube to get started. And we had a lot of questions in the mailbag. Make sure you reach out, info@pozekgroup.com, if you want to let us know what your question is to be read on air.
Yeah.
See you guys in the next one.
Love it.